Chapter 5 Exploring Equestria. What's going on, everybody? Man, it's been a while since I made a chapter for this fanfic. The reason why I'm adding in more chapters is because I felt like Gohan's time in Equestria was too short. Also, because he only really ever showed and stayed in Ponyville. So I wanted to add a chapter where he explores the land a little bit. So now just put up your feet and enjoy. The rain kept pouring down and showed no signs of stopping. The occasional sounds of thunder could be heard as well. It had been a few hours since Gohan and Twilight recovered the Eloquent Amulet, and they had been at the library ever since. Things seemed to have quieted down as they returned to her house. It was avoided some break after what they went through with the demon. Now the two of them were sitting in the main part of the library. They were each reading a book. That surprised Twilight the most. She never expected Gohan to be the reading type. He seemed more like a warrior than a scholar to her, but when he explained that his mother made him read and study, she understood. In fact, she also said that she had a friend who liked reading like she did. The only opponent who ever read with her was Rainbow Dash, and she only read Daring Do books. The young singer was reading a book about the history of Equestria. He had made some good progress in the book and was enjoying the read. "Thanks again for letting me stay here while it was raining outside," he said as he flipped to the next page in his book. Twilight just smiled. "No problem, Gohan. It was the least I could do for you since you saved my life. It's also nice to have someone to read with." "What do you mean?" The half-singer raised an eyebrow. "Oh, none of her friends ever stop by to read. Rainbow Dash does sometimes, but it's only for Daring Do." Gohan remembered the purple eloquent telling him about how much Rainbow Dash loves Daring Do, that he should never touch one of her books. "If you ever need some covering, I'm always available, and my mom would like it if I did some more reading." Her smile widened as the two continued to read their respective books, neither one breaking concentration. Spike would stop by occasionally to offer them food or drinks, and aside from some orange juice, they politely declined. Another half hour passed, and the rain seemed to have been slowing down to a stop. As the last drops of rain fell down to the ground, the three of them walked outside. The clouds were being cleared as the first rays of light shone down on them. They each took a deep breath of the fresh air. It was surprisingly nice out, considering it had just rained out heavily. A few moments later, Flashlight came out to them. She had a worried look on her face. "Gohan!" She ran up and hugged him. "I was starting to get worried. You've been gone for several hours." He scratched the back of his head nervously. "Gosh, I'm sorry, Flashlight. I didn't mean to make you worried. Twilight and I had to go recover the Eloquent Amulet from a demon." Hearing that made the shy pony gasp. "Goodness, you're not hurt, are you?" She looked for any sign of injury, but she didn't find anything. "Flashlight, relax. Gohan saved me from that demon and we recovered the amulet," the purple mare explained, making her friend sign relief. "Give it back to Princess Celestia, and I'll let him stay at my house until it stops raining." She nodded in understanding. "I'm just glad you're safe." She smiled as the last few clouds were cleared away, revealing the bright blue sky. "Ever since the rain has stopped, I guess you can go home now, Gohan." The red promise and just nodded. There was a moment of silence as Saiyan looked at his three friends, leaving them slightly confused as to why he wasn't answering. After a few moments, he spoke up. "Actually, I think I want to go exploring." The puzzled looks never faded from their faces. "You want to explore Equestria?" Spike asked. The Saiyan nodded. Twilight cleared her throat. "Well, I suppose I could lend you a map of Equestria." "Great," he cheered. Fluttershy gasped. I don't know about this, Twilight, but what if something bad happens?" she questioned, fearing the worst. Part of her knew that he could take care of himself, but that didn't mean she couldn't worry. Equestria was very large. There were so many dangerous places. She would never have given herself if something bad happened to her friend. Come on, Fluttershy. I'll be fine. I can become a Super Saiyan, remember?" To further prove his point, he powered up into a Super Saiyan. In an instant, a golden aura enveloped his body. A small breeze was blown out in all directions, and it made his head float slightly. "Whoa," the baby dragon muttered. He had never seen anything like that before, and he was beyond amazed. That was going on in some of the coolest things he had ever witnessed. After a few seconds, he let out a sigh and let his Super Saiyan strength fade, returning him to his normal form. "I just want to see what else is out there. You said yourself, Twilight, there are more places than just Ponyville and Equestria." The purple pony remembered back to when he first got here. She did say something to that degree to him. "I think it'd be good for him to familiarize himself with Equestria." "Yeah, totally," Spike agreed to icon on this one. He may not have known him long, but he knew that Gohan would be fine. Both he and Twilight knew that he could take care of himself. Fluttershy looked at all three of them before sighing. If they thought he could do it, then she had to let him go. Okay, just be careful out there. She gave him another hug. Dwayne went inside to get a map. He came out a few moments later with a rolled up map, held up by her magic. Here you go, one map of Equestria. She handed the map to him. With this, you should be able to navigate with ease and efficiency. Gohan bowed. Thanks, Twilight. I guess I should get going. He opened up the map, and decided to head to Appaloosa first. So he rolled out the map and waved goodbye to his friends. Goodbye, I'll try not to take you long. A white flame flipped his body as a half sand flew into the air. If you had physical empire, tip shining armor and cadence, I said hello. The main mare yelled up to him. Thanks to his better than ever sharing, he had heard what she said. So he descended down closer to them. He then gave her a nod before resuming his flight. He took off like a rogue and flew towards Appaloosa. Appaloosa was in close proximity to Ponyville, and his rate of flying made the trip go faster. In practically no time at all, the half-saint arrived at Appaloosa, and it appeared to be a quaint little town. It reminded him of an old western town, like the ones he would read about in the history books back on Earth. At first glance, he could see several ponies carrying carts on their backs, and those carts were full of apples. He started walking around before at some point walked up to him. He had yellowish-colored skin, an orange mane, and an apple kitty mark. He was dressed in a brown fastened Stetson. Hey there, and welcome to Appaloosa! He shouted at the top of his lungs. Even though the pony didn't know what kind of creature was in front of him, that didn't mean he wouldn't be friendly. Gohan took a step back, surprised by his loud voice. I'm Gohan. It's nice to meet you. He extended his hand. The pony recognized the gesture and instantly brought his hoof up. He shook the creature's claw before withdrawing his hoof. The name's Brayburn. What brings you out to Appaloosa? Well, Gohan. I'm just here to explore Equestria. The stallion smiled. I'd be happy to show you around, he stated, making his new friend smile. Before the tour could begin, Brayburn had something to say. But first, how about I tell you about the history of Appaloosa? His smile became bigger. The young stallion sighed. He was hoping to just go on a tour. With a slightly forced smile, he nodded agreement. Sure. Oh, how long could a history tale take? 3 hours later. And that is the story of Appaloosa, the stallion smiled. So do you want to take the tour now? Enthusiasm was still infinite in Pony, even after 10 3-hour story. Sam, however, wasn't as enthusiastic. He just stood there, looking half dead. That was definitely the longest story he had ever heard. I must say he wanted to take the tour the half-saint and learned everything from the history lesson. Plus, he was too worn out to explore the same town he had just heard about. For 3 hours. I think I'll pass. There are other places I want to visit, he explained. Wow, y'all should come on by another time. We can take the tour then. Gohan nodded. Alright, I'll see you later, Brayburn. Thanks for the history lesson. What are engulfed him as he took to the skies. Golly, don't say that every day. Brayburn noted and all. He made a mental note to ask him next time how he was able to fly without any wings. Within a few seconds, the thing was gone. While that was a very informative trip, he was hoping that the next destination wouldn't entail any history lessons. He wanted a more hands-on approach. Seeing all the sights and landmarks was a lot different than either reading about them, or listening to someone talk for hours on end. The flight to Candlelight seemed to take no time at all. Shouldn't have been a surprise considering how close it was to both Ponyville and Appaloosa. It wouldn't take any time for Pegasus to reach the city, but for unicorns and other ponies, they would have to take the train. He began counting himself lucky that he didn't have to take the trains. Otherwise, his trip would be a lot longer. After a short amount of flying, he finally arrived at his destination. He landed on the ground at the outskirts of the capital. First class, he could tell that this place was different than Ponyville. The former seemed more like a city, while the latter felt like a small town. Another thing he noticed was that most of the ponies he saw looked very well dressed, like they all had a lot of money. It certainly was a place he would ever live in. Gohan started walking around for a little bit, taking in all of his surroundings. More often than not, he would receive stares from the ponies around him, but he didn't really pay any attention to them. He could also hear them murmur and whisper, but again he ignored it. It reminded him of when he first arrived in Ponyville, and at this point he was used to it. He was doing a good job of ignoring the ponies until he ran into a teal unicorn. They had a blue and white mane, and their kitty mark was a harp. He noticed a slightly confused look upon their face, which contrasted nicely to his bright smile. After several moments of silence, the half-saint spoke up. Hi there, my name is Gohan. What's yours? There was a pause before the unicorn shrieked at the top of her lungs. Human! she screamed, catching him off guard. She then poured through the streets, yelling at the top of her lungs, I told you humans existed! The other ponies looked at each other before also panicking. They had all heard Lyra's crazy theories about humans existing, but they never believed her. It was just a load of nonsense. Yet there was an actual human in Canterlot. Every pony was now running around screaming, The humans gonna destroy us all! They screamed, Run for your lives! Somebody got the princesses! The real god! Anything! The young Saiyan scratched the back of his head. Was it something I said? He wondered aloud, which made every pony look at him. Bray paused and soon before somebody spoke up. Let's get him before he gets us! A unicorn yelled, getting every pony else riled up. Soon enough they were all charging the human, ready to take him down. The Saiyan took to the skies, trying to avoid the angry mob. He was not looking down at all the ponies, feeling very confused. What's with them? The ponies and Ponyfoot didn't freak out. None of them knew how he was flying and were trying to freak out. The human can fly! We're all doomed! Let's throw stuff at him! A female unicorn shouted as he started to pick up whatever was on the ground. Then they all threw at the sound human. He fired all the miscellaneous items being thrown at him and flew towards the closest building, which was the giant castle. He flew right up to the door and quickly opened it and closed it behind him. The sounds of angry ponies could be heard from outside, but luckily he was safe inside the castle. A sigh escaped his mouth. It was soon that he sensed some pony else in the room. He wasn't alone. Who's there? The singer turned around and saw an Alicorn standing several feet away from him. The Alicorn had a dark blue coat with black splotches on each flank. The area around her neck was the same black as her flank. She had a flowing blue mane, which seemed to sparkle. Her cutie mark was the crescent moon, which was also located on the front part of the black on her neck. It also looked like she was wearing some kind of white shoes or boots. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was just wondering what you were doing in my castle, she asked in a slight demanding tone. He stared at her confused. Your castle? She nodded. Yes, I am Princess Luna. I live here with my sister. Hearing that made Gohan come to realization. You're Princess Celestia's sister? The woods skin received a nod. Wow, I never knew she had a sister. My name is Gohan. I met Princess Celestia a while back, he explained. I thought her energy felt familiar. Princess slapped her forehead. She felt really stupid for not knowing who this was. How could I not know who you are? Celestia talked about you and how you're a great hero. She described you to me, and for some reason I couldn't recognize you. Forgive me, Gohan. She bowed to the man. He laughed lightly. It wasn't every day a princess bowed to him. I should be sorry. I just sort of went in here without asking. Those ponies out there started hunting me down. Luna started confused. She never thought that the opponents of Canterlot would be able to form an angry mob. Then she remembered that there was one pony that seemed obsessed with humans. Did you run into a tier pony with a harp cutie mark? She received a nod. That was Lyra Heartstrings. She has been convinced that humans exist for a long time. None of us believed her, though. I'm guessing that yelling I heard was from her, she mused. Now he was even more confused. So are ponies here for humans? I don't think so. But I guess when one pony panics, they all have to start panicking. I'm sure they will calm down. Sounds of shouting and runners breaking could be heard. Eventually. But for now, I would find someplace else to be, she told him. The half-saying smile as he looked at his map. The next step was Cloudsdale. I guess I should get going. Goodbye, Luna. Tell Princess Celestia I said hi. He waved goodbye as he opened the door and flew up into the sky. Luckily for him, it seemed like he went unnoticed by the angry mob trying to attack him. Princess Luna walked to the door and started to close it, but not before him were shouting, What you sound like it's so much Celestia damn noise. My daughter's trying to sleep. As the Alicorn Princess closed the door, she couldn't help but wonder what that pony only ever yelled. Even in a small crowd pony, he would yell at the top of his lungs. After what happened in Canterlot, Gohan was hoping his next destination would be better, that nobody would freak out at the sight of him. As he approached the city made of clouds, he had to stop. He took a few moments to let it soak in. Cloudsdale was as the name suggested, a place made of clouds in the sky. It was truly a sight to behold, and the map just couldn't do it justice. Upon first glance, he could see several Pegasus ponies flying around. Some of them were wearing white outfits and hats. There were others who had no clothing on at all, which is what he was used to seeing. He entered the large city and was even more amazed. He wanted to go explore in more detail, but the only problem was he couldn't stand on clouds. Sure, by Gohan could use Nimbus, but he wasn't sure these clouds were the same or not. He then decided he would just fly around this place for a little bit, since that was the only option. The first attraction that caught his eye was the place where they make the rainbows. As he looked at the rainbow lake with several Pegasi stared at him blankly. There were several construction workers also looking at him, not paying attention to their work. He noticed one of the jackhammers they were using fell out the cloud, so he flew down to retrieve it. The ponies then returned to their business. "Oh, a jackhammer fell off!" One worker shouted, which got the attention of all workers. "Again?" The pony asked, which made the first guy nod. "If the fun finds out, you will get fired. You know he doesn't give second chances," a tall gruff Pegasus said. As soon as the soon-to-be fired Pegasus started walking away sadly, something tapped his shoulder. He turned around and saw the strange creature. "Excuse me, sir, but you dropped this." The young singer handed him the jackhammer. With his tool back in his hooves, he lit up. "Oh, thank you, sir. You saved my job." All the other workers had seen what happened and started clapping. "It was no big deal. Just be more careful next time." Gohan, satisfied that he had that pony, flew back into the air and pulled out his map. Part of him wanted to explore clouds out some more, but it was kind of his fault the jungle went out of the cloud. He didn't want to cause any more trouble up here. He thought about what his next step should be. After looking over the map a few times, he saw the fits in Manhattan. In order to pick up speed, Gohan transformed to a Super Saiyan. He found no harm in transforming to make the trip go faster. At this new rate of travel, the young Saiyan was nearing his destination much faster. The wind hitting his face was refreshed for Gohan. A little cool, but nice against his skin. After a few months of flying, he reached Manhattan, and at first glance he could tell this place was much different than Ponyville. This place seemed exactly like one of the fairy cities back on Earth. You could see lots of buildings, even a few skyscrapers, and the streets were bustling with life. Gohan landed on the ground in some back alley as to not draw too much attention to himself. He let his aura fade, but stayed a Super Saiyan. He might as well continue to train on the transformation for long periods of time. He then left the alley and began wandering around the city. As he walked through the streets, most ponies ignored him, which didn't bother him at all. It was better to be ignored than to stick out. Once again, Gohan was marveling at the sights. Very tall buildings loomed over the city, casting shadows on the streets. They looked even bigger on the ground than in the air. The Super Saiyan eventually walked by a bank, which was a little surprising to him. He didn't think they had banks in Equestria. A few seconds later, the sounds of an alarm could be heard, snapping him out of his thoughts. He turned and noticed 3 ponies wearing masks running away from the bank, using their masks to carry bags of bits. "Stop them!" a banker shouted as the crooks continued to run away. The 3 shot ponies out of the way as they made their escape. The lead unicorn smirked. "Looks like you're getting away again, boys," he smirked. "Yeah, gets easy every time, boss," a big earth pony said. To get them ran into a strange bipedal creature landing in front of them. "Out of our way, kid," the boss shouted. Gohan glared at them. "Return the money and leave. I don't want to have to hurt you." They all started laughing. "Hurt us? You hear that, boys?" "Yeah, I'm so scared," the short unicorn joked. Everyone was watching from a safe distance, wanting to see how this would play out. Since the robots were still laughing, they felt to notice 3 bags of bits being snatched out of the air. "What the?" The boss thought and noticed that the bags were gone. He saw the kid holding his boot. "Why, you Mesabok, take care of him," he ordered the big earth pony. The Saiyan watched as big pony charged at him. Right before any kind of impact, he jumped through the air, easily avoided Medicine Ball's assault. Gohan landed shortly after and turned to face the robber. He began lowering his power level as his opponent charged him. Just because he had to fight them didn't mean he would kill them. The Super Saiyan moved out of the way of a punch and delivered one of his own, right into the robber's gut. He just clutched his fist and watched the opponent fall to the ground unconscious. The other 2 seemed to tremble as the creature turned to them. Even more so when some kind of corner enveloped his body. "Go get them now!" The short unicorn gulped as he used his might to pick up a nearby mailbox. He then sent full force at the stranger, only for it to break upon impact. He stood there with an open jaw and wide eyes. He looked around and noticed everyone else was just as shocked as he was. Within a second, Gohan disappeared and reappeared right in front of the unicorn. A swift punch to the gut knocked him out, much like the first guy. He then turned towards the final crook, ready to end it. By now, the boss was freaking out. The strange creature took his goons down with no effort. If his cronies going, then what chance did he have? He started to back away, but by that time the police had arrived. Things quickly went from bad to worse, and he had little choice but to surrender. The police arrested all 3 of the robbers and recovered the stolen bits. Joe on the bank walked up to the young hero. "Thank you, sir." "No problem. Happy to help." Just then, a police officer walked up to them. "You're pretty brave to take on all 3 of those guys at once. What's your name, citizen?" he asked. Before he could speak up, someone from across the street shouted, "He's a gold fighter!" Everyone then erupted with cheers. The nameless creature had become a hero, with a cool name to boot. Now, whenever there was danger, they would only have to call his name and he would be there. Well done, Gold Fighter. We'll keep in touch. The police galloped away with the thief's title. Every pony who had been watching walked up to the Gold Fighter. They all wanted to praise him for his deeds. Unfortunately for them, Gohan didn't want that. He was never too keen on being famous. He fought Eve because it was the right thing to do, not because people were cheering him on. So he decided to leave the city, thinking that he had done enough. Within a second, he flew up in the air and headed away from the city. The only thing he left behind was a legacy. The Super Saiyan was flying at a very fast rate. All the while starting to think he could take it easy on exploration. First he caused a ride in Canterlot, then he nearly got some pony fired, and now he became a superhero. Sure, the second two actually weren't as bad as the first, but he still didn't want all of this attention. After minutes of flying, he finally reached the Crystal Empire, and this was truly a sight to behold. Every building was made of crystal, and the whole empire shined brightly from a distance. It was a lot better than Clarksdale, and again the picture could not do it justice. As Gohan flew overhead, he noticed that all the points were made of crystal, which was actually pretty cool. This place is amazing, he thought to himself as he searched for a spot to land. He landed on the ground near the giant castle and began walking forward. He glanced at all the various shops around, not finding anything out of the ordinary. It was then that the Super Saiyan came across something strange. It looked like some kind of heart made out of crystal. It seemed so out of place to him. He was so infatuated with it, he was oblivious to Sarah's receiving. As the young half-Saiyan reached out to touch it, he could hear the pony scream. That thing is trying to take our crystal heart! Gohan panicked. What? He must work for King Sombra! All the ponies were now running around screaming. Soon after, Shining Armor Princess Kings looked out from the back of their kingdom. They caught sight of a strange creature near the Crystal Empire, and their sisters screamed while running. We must protect the Crystal Heart at all costs. Summon the Royal Guard! Prince bellowed. Several horns were blown. A few seconds later, a bunch of Pegasus guards flew out and charged the intruder. Gohan had three choices: fight the guards, flee, or surrender. The first two were out of the question, since it could only impact his reputation. Plus, he didn't really want to fight any more ponies today, so he decided to hold his hands up and surrender. He was then grabbed by several guards and flown up to the castle. Upon reaching the balcony, he was dropped down onto it. The half-Saiyan was now staring down at a white unicorn with a blue mane, and a pink unicorn with a yellow, purple, and pink mane. Hello? Who are you? Answer me now! Shining Armor yelled. I'm Gohan, he replied, figuring it was best not to try for a handshake. So why are you trying to take our crystal heart? The prince asked in an angry tone, but with less anger than before. I wasn't trying to steal it. I just wanted to look at it. Shining Armor glared at him. He wasn't buying it at all. That sounded like something a thief would say, especially when confronted about it. Princess Cadence, however, did believe the stranger. She could tell that he wasn't lying. Shining Armor, he isn't lying. This man is telling the truth. He reluctantly nodded. The prince of the Crystal Empire knew that Cadence was right. You guards are dismissed. The guards all slowed before going back to their business. It was then that Gohan remembered something. That name sounded familiar. Wait a minute. The Saiyan turned to the elegant princess. Are you Princess Cadence? She nodded. Yes, I am. And this is my husband, Shining Armor. May I ask how you knew him? Because Twilight Sparkle told me to say hello. They both gasped. You know Twilight? He received a nod in response. Forgive me, Gohan. I thought you were trying to steal our crystal heart and take over our kingdom. The prince explained before bowing to the man. Gohan bowed and returned. It's alright, Shining Armor. I'm sorry I tried to touch the crystal heart. Hearing that made Cadence giggle slightly. Don't worry about it, Gohan. But in the future, please don't try and touch the heart. It is very important to us. She explained with a smile. He nodded as a yawn escaped his mouth. It had been quite a day for him, and he figured he had enough time for one day. Okay, I guess I should be going home now. It was nice to meet you two. With one last bout, the young Saint took off for Ponyville. Goodbye, Gohan. Tell Twilight Sparkle we say hi. They both shouted to him. He was now heading for home, but as he made some distance between him and the Crystal Empire, he found some pony nearby. So you're the Gohan every pony keeps talking about. Suddenly a strange creature was floating next to him. It was a creature made up of a bunch of different parts. It had a talon, a paw, a goat-like head, and a serpent's tail. I also didn't expect you to be so young. Who are you? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Discord, the spirit of disharmony and chaos. It's a pleasure to meet you. He held out his paw for Gohan to shake. This Discord creature didn't seem like it was the spirit of disharmony. And if it was, why hadn't he seen or heard of any chaos? You're not the same Discord who was once evil but changed to a good person, he questioned as he shook the paw. The very same. I see you've heard of me. He smirked as he conjured up a cup of tea. He drank it and tossed the cup behind himself, making it hit the ground and explode. Right now, this half-saint was immediately slapping himself for not recognizing him, seeing as how Fluttershy talked about him so much. She mentioned that he had also had powers, except it was more like magic instead of energy. Well, Fluttershy talked about you at the spirit of Chaos face said about you said that. You know Fluttershy? He received a nod. Oh, any friend of hers is a friend of mine. Isn't she a nice pony? The young saint could agree with that statement. Yeah, she is. Tell me something, Gohan. Are the rumors true? Did you indeed defeat Cell and have immense power? Once again, he received a nod. Wonderful. You must show me some of your power sometime. Sure, but I have to get going. Come see me anytime. I'm staying at Fluttershy's cottage. He waved goodbye and flew up towards his home. This go way back before snapping his fingers and disappearing. Another round of flying, Gohan powered down without Super Saiyan as he neared Ponyville. A smile came across his face as he neared his home. The entire day was pretty crazy. First, he dealt with the demon and his trials, and then he went exploring, which was also quite an adventure. The young Saiyan slowed his speed as he neared the cottage, allowing himself to gently land upon the ground. The shy pawn was waiting outside, finger jiggles, when she noticed her friend approaching. Gohan! She shouted. This time her voice was actually loud, which for her was saying something. As he landed on the ground, he watched his friend run up to him. He readily accepted her hug. Hi, Fluttershy. He tossed her mane for a few moments before stopping. How was your trip? She asked. There was a slight pause. He wasn't sure how to explain it. It was kind of all over the place. It was fun, a little rough at times, but still fun. All in all, it was successful. The yellow pony smiled brightly. How about I make some hot chocolate and you can tell me all about it? If you want to. Gohan smiled. Yeah, that sounds great. The two then walked to their cottage and that was that. This was a long chapter and I hope you enjoyed it. And yes, I know Gohan didn't visit every single place in Equestria. We would be here for a very long time. And neither of us wants that. To counter that, I just had him visit a few places and have big things happen there. Such as the riot or bank robbery. And I hope the riot wasn't too OOC for the background points of a Canterlot. I thought it only took one pony to get them all scared. R&R and have a nice day.